Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In our research of the challenges that translators and interpreters face on a day-to-day basis, is the usage of parables or proverbs, if you want. When a proverb is used, there is one thing when you don't understand it, and also another when you understand it, but then parables or proverbs normally they have a story that is backing them. So sometimes you don't have the equivalent of that proverb in the target language. So let's say I'm translating from Arabic to English. You say a proverb in Arabic, I know the meaning of the proverb, but it doesn't have its equivalent in English. So what happens is that now you are going to be explaining. It looks like you have to explain. It's very challenging. So in such research, we come about a very interesting text. Then I said, let me share this with the beloved people here. There is this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which is said to be mursal. Of course, when hadith is said to be mursal, the last chain, the Sahaba that connects the Tabi'i to Rasulullah ﷺ is cut off, and so it's said to be mursal, yani it's cut off the last link to Rasulullah ﷺ. And so, what happened in this hadith is that the Prophet ﷺ permitted for the people of Quraysh to come to him. Yani he's in a place and he permitted them to come in. The hadith says, Azina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam li Qurayshin. The Prophet permitted them to come to him. Wa akhara Abu Sufyan, and he delayed Abu Sufyan. We all know Abu Sufyan, very notable in the people of Quraysh, but then he delayed him. So he would tell this one, come in, come in. And then Abu Sufyan was delayed. ثم أذن له فقال, and then he permitted for Abu Sufyan to come in. And then Abu Sufyan said, ما كدت أن تأذن لي حتى كدت أن تأذن لحجارة الجهملتين جلحمتين عفوا جلحمتين, two rocks. It is said to be the name of the rocks has some diversions. In some narrations you hear Jalmataini or something like that. So Jalhamataini, two rocks on the side of a valley, that is their name. Says, you almost did not permit for me to enter. You were at the verge of even permitting the rocks to enter without permitting me to enter. And then what did Rasulullah say? What Abu Sufyan said meant that you delayed me really bad, and you were even going to allow the lowest person to come in without allowing me to come in. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded to him, فَقَالَ وَمَا أَنْتَ وَذَاكَ يَا أَبَا سُفْيَانَ. What is the relationship between you and that? You and the rock? And no. That you are not in that standard. Don't understand it that way. Then he says, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ كَمَا قَالَ الْأَوَّلُ. This is the point that I want to bring us to. You are like the first people said. Al-awwal huna, he meant of course, the Arabs of the old, the parables. Of course, somebody said it before. إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ كَمَا قَالَ الْأَوَّلُ. You are like the first person had said. كُلُّ الصَّيْدِ فِي جَوْفِ الْفَرَى. All the hunt, literally, كُلُّ الصَّيْدِ, all the hunt. Yani when you go hunting the animal that you get, all the hunt, fi jawfil fara, is in the flesh or in the belly of the fara. Fara alif. I will do well to attach the hadith somewhere. Fi jawfil fara bimana, the belly of the fara. Fara is the al-himar al-wahshi, that is a zebra. So you want to translate something like this. Did you come with the text and get to the place and say, you are like the first person said, all the hunt is in the belly of the zebra? Translation is supposed to transmit a meaning. It's supposed to give a meaning. But then imagine you get to a place, it's supposed to make the target language, the audience of the target language, understand what is being said. But when you get to a place like this and you say, you translate it like this, there will be a problem. So normally you need to know the story behind the parable and then know how to best summarize it. Even if you don't know the equivalent of it in the target language, know how to summarize the story quickly and make a meaning. And in some high-level translation like the UN, I've watched, I don't want to mention the name of the country, but the one president that looked like a king who was killed 2011, I'm sure some of you might get it. He was one of the presidents of the countries at the northern side of Africa. And he was at the UN giving a lecture, giving a talk, and he said something. And the interpreters, they have live interpreters. The interpreters couldn't interpret. And then he listened to them again. He was like, they shouldn't worry. So he translated it himself. He gave it a meaning himself. That when a translator falls short at this point, it's not a problem at all. The translator or the interpreter, you could ask, if you have the chance, the person speaking to clarify more. Jamil. So I come to the parable and the story behind it. It is said that it is three people that went hunting. The first one hunted a rabbit. The second one hunted a what is the name of this animal? Deer, a deer. And they were very happy. And the third one hunted a farah, which is the al-himar al-wahshi, which is a zebra. So the first and second, they thought that the rabbit and the deer, they were fresh meat. They were meat that people liked a lot and stuff. So they were bragging over the last one who got a zebra. They were looking at the aspect of who has the valuable meat and all that. And so he said to them, Kullu saydi fi jawfil fara. All the hunt that you have, it fits into mine. Yani the zebra, of course, is bigger. And so when we put your deer and your rabbit together, they might even be just the thigh of the zebra or just be one side of the zebra. So all the hunt is in the flesh of the farah. But why is this said, or in what occasion is this said? This is said to mean that this thing is the main thing. So when we refer to something as kullu saydi fi jawfil farah, we mean that that thing is the farah and it is the mother set of all the pieces. So we mean everything other than it is a small thing, but this is the actual thing. So let's say I give this person something, I give that, and you are there and you feel worried, and I say, don't worry, kullu saydi fi jawfil farah. Bimana, you are going to get the main attention, you are going to get the main thing. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam telling Abu Sufyan that إنما أنت كما قال الأول كل الصيد في جوف الفرة. He's telling you that don't worry, you are the actual person, you are the main person I'm going to meet, and he used that means to get his affection, and that is what it meant there. So don't worry about the delay. So this is just one example of those. Normally you find a text you are translating and it gets to a point you can't just translate, you need to explain. If you give literal translation, the meaning wouldn't go. So what happens if you look at some of the programs that they do internationally and the live translation, there are a lot of challenges, because when somebody is speaking at high level, the person wants to use such things, but then the interpreter might have challenges. You have to be a native of both languages, the source language and the target language, to be able to give such a delivery. And if you want to pass at this, you need to read extensively Arabic text. You need to read extensively. Particularly, one of our teachers, I have to remember his name, Dr. Saeed, Dr. Bastawisi. That is his name, Bastawisi. He taught us translation when we went to Egypt at Ain Shams. And he once mentioned something like the religious text, the Quran has no translation. I think that is him who said that. And we were wilded. We were all wild, like, how? It has translations, but growing up and learning a bit more of the Arabic, realize that those things are not really translations. They are just people's effort to translate. Because sometimes you pick a word, a verse, it can mean this, it can mean that, but the translator goes for what he wants. Just like the example we usually said with Surah Al-Baqarah, we have a minute. We wanted this thing to just take 10 minutes. Alif Lam Mim Dhalika al-kitabu la rayba fihi. Do you take al-kitab as khabar for dhalika, so that it will be that is the book? Or you take al-kitab as badal for dhalika, so that it will be that book? So you have that book in which there is no doubt, or you have that is the book in which there is no doubt. So such things. So the translator would offer just one option of putting one line there. And so normally it's an attempt to translate, but religious text is very complicated and it's very difficult to translate. And you must read extensively to be able to come to terms with these things. When you know the story behind the parable, you are able to deliver excellently. So today, let's pick this parable. Kullu saydi fi jawfil farah means that the farah is the main thing, and the one being referred to as the farah is the main thing of the main cause of attention. Assalamu alaikum.